So what's up, everybody, man? We're going to get right into it today. No need for introductions. You know who I am, Richard Taylor, the author of Blue Lights in My Review. And you see the caption of the video today. That time that I received death threats from the Goldsboro, North Carolina City Hall office. And just a little backstory probably about 10 years ago, I was very, gung-ho in, digging into the city's finances. There was a lot of things going on in the city that I felt that the leadership wasn't handling correctly. So that caused me to come down here, go to the website, and kind of garner people up, to have town hall meetings and address some of the situations. So one particular meeting I think I had at the city hall, I was on the radio, I think with Melissa Wade, just trying to get people to realize what they were doing with the money that was supposed to go to certain groups, especially like the community development block group, where I found out they were doing some things that wasn't really representative of what the money was supposed to be for. So I called a meeting and I met with the mayor at that time. It was a few more citizens that was there. It was the mayor at that time was Al King, and a couple more people came to the meeting with me. It was supposed to be like a public forum, but they decided to meet with me in private. So in the private meeting, I drew up like a list of like 30 questions that I had noticed, from the website or from, just concerns of the people of what needed to be done. And of course, they gave me a bunch of, double talk and, neglecting and deflecting from the questions. So at that meeting, I just pretty much got up and walked out. I think the newspaper article said, I stormed out or something like that. But, I felt like they were just trying to play with my intelligence and, just, treat me like I didn't have, a good sense of, politics or what was going on. So after that meeting, I did a few more things and, I kind of stayed vigilant until about one day, man. It was about maybe like three or 4 months after that meeting. Now, mind you, I'm still staying in Virginia at this point. So I get a call from a childhood friend. Childhood friend called me, and he said, the person said that, I just want to call you, man. My mother asked that I still talk to you. I said, okay, yeah. Tell everybody I said what up or whatever. He was like, yeah, but she wanted me to let you know, to be careful, and I'm like, okay, what do you mean by that? And so he was like, well, she works at the city hall, and she said that she's been hearing your name, come up, in certain circles, and she just wants you to be careful. So I'm like, yeah, she probably have. Like, I've been dealing with City Hall. I've been talking to people down there, the city manager and, other people who are involved in, the everyday happenings of the city government. And he was like, no, she heard your name in another way. I'm like, what you mean? And he was like, well, she said that they said that, they need to do something about you. And when I heard that, I'm like, do something about you? Like what you mean? And so he was like, well, his mother said that, they're saying that they need to find a way to shut you up. And, from that, I gathered, only one of two things, either shut, from only way I'm shut up as if I'm, in jail or dead. So that's what I took that to meant. And so that caused me to kind of reconsider some things I was doing, to kind of back off for a little bit. But then in hindsight, I remember there's certain incidents that let me know that, that probably was true. Because like the day before that meeting that I'm talking about, I was out handing out flyers and putting flyers on people's doors. And there were actually I put a flyer on a campaign sign that was in the mayor's yard, the current mayor, Al King yard. I put the flyer up and it was like something like speak out, speak up and speak out. Come out to this meeting tomorrow if you're tired of city government doing this, that, and the other. And it was a flyer. So I'm walking around the neighborhood now. This time, I think it's about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so it's dark. So I got a book bag with the flyers on. I'm just walking around, And I was thinking I was finishing up, and I was in my parents' neighborhood. They stayed on Taylor Street at the time. So I was going home. So then, I'm walking down the street, and I hear, and I feel a car rolling up on me real slow, right? And so I turn around, and, it's a police officer. And I knew the police officer at that time, but yet and still, the situation was kind of eerie. Like, I've been in enough dangerous situations where I can feel a sense of danger. And so, the police officer stopped me and said, "Hey, what you doing out here?" I said, "Hey, I'm not doing anything, man. I'm passing out flyers, man, for this meeting tomorrow that I'm doing with City Hall. You know who I am." And the person knew who I was because, she stayed in the neighborhood. And she was like, "Oh, so you're the one who's passing out those flyers." And she gave me that look like, "Oh, you're the one." And her whole demeanor actually changed. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the one, who's passing out the flyers. What's going on?" Said, "Nothing. Did you put one on the mayor's yard?" I said, "Yeah, I put one, in a lot of different places." Now, mind you, I put the picture over the mayor's, I put the flyer over the mayor's picture because, he was one of the ones I felt like was just a sitting puppet. So she was like, "Yeah, okay, well, okay, I've heard some things." And I was like, "Okay, well, all right." I was, is there any problem?" She said, "No, no, but what you got in the book bag?" I said, I got my computer, I got my flyers and everything." She says, "Okay, well, you be careful out here." And the way she said it, I felt like, that I was like maybe in a 1956 In the Heat of the Night, episode. Because the way she said it and the look she gave me was, almost sort of threatening, and I know when somebody says be careful, I know what they mean. So she was like, "You be careful out here." I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then she was like, "Well, do you want any water?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And she was like, "Are you sure you don't want any water? It's pretty hot out here. I think you should take some water." And so I'm like, "Nah, I'm straight." She said, "All right, well, you be careful out here." And at that time, I just started walking, so I started walking. And she was driving probably like a block over from my parents' house at this time. So I'm walking, and she's like, she's driving beside me. And, I feel like, once again, I'm in one of those old time, Jim Crow movies. And she was like, "Are you sure you don't want any water?" And I'm like, why is this lady trying to give me some water? I done told her, that I'm straight. So, I don't know if it was, something in the water or whatever, but I just feel uncomfortable about taking anything. I said, "No, man, I'm fine. I'll get some water when I get home." So once again, she drove off. But before she drove off, she said, "Okay, now, you be careful out here." And so once again, she said that again. So, from my experiences, when somebody tell you to be careful like that, you're in some sort of danger. But nevertheless, I went and had the meeting, and the meeting was once again, it didn't go the way I planned because I just felt like that I was dealing with people who, really didn't want to address any of the situations that I brought to light. But nevertheless, it was about 3 months later where I got that call. And when the call when my guy said, well, his mother works at City Hall and she heard your name, and they want to she wants you to be careful because she's heard city officials saying that they need to shut you up. So and then when I got that call, I thought back to that incident with the police officer. But nevertheless, nothing ever happened. But I never talked about this. I write about that in my book though, Blue Lights in My Rear View. Just highlighting some of the tactics, but I do believe that that call was a serious matter, and I do think that those conversations that were had were kind of nefarious, if I may say so, about me in the City Hall and them having to shut me up. But nevertheless, I'm here today. We're still, talking about a lot of the issues, and I read about a lot of more issues in this book. I'm going to be doing a little bit more videos about, a lot of things that are going on. But definitely stay tuned, and I thank y'all for tuning into my videos and everybody who's subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank y'all for sharing the videos and all of that. But we're going to come back with more information, more content. But I did just want to share this just to let people know that, there are, evils in, the city politics, city government, law enforcement, and things like that. So y'all just be aware of these things that are going on and keep your ear to the streets, as they say, because there are a lot of things going on that are swept under the rug. So I'm going to be bringing those things to light to you. But once again, just stay blessed, stay safe, and, stay true. Peace. I'm out. Richard Taylor.